just sitting here just wondering, like, how did my life get like this? It's so crazy because it's not terrible, and I know it's not the worst, but yeah, it still just feels like the bottom. Definitely a struggle. I was already born in the quote unquote struggle. I was already born, lived in projects, living stuff like that. Um, Not to say that that can't work for people. I'm not knocking nobody that live in projects or anything, but I'm just saying I was already born in a struggle, had to deal with that. I was already born out of wedlock, so of course had to deal with parents going off separately, doing their own thing. Mama got married to somebody else. My daddy got married to somebody else. Mm. Mm. I don't know. Yeah, I just really truly feel like the enemy just always trying to bother with me and just don't let up. And then was later on in life was told, everybody's in the struggle. Was already, meanwhile I'm already in the struggle, but I'm told again everybody go through the struggle, and then um, they proceed to try to like pull me down. I know how to float at least, so that's what I can do. But treading water and all that, you get tired eventually, and so I'm just thank God I'm not feeling exhausted in this moment, but I'm just feeling like what direction am I going in? What destination am I going to end up at? Because it's just too much. Sitting in there trying to raise my kids. Of course, one of them, is in another household that I don't approve of. Um, then my other two are here with me, but I'm still, they're males, so it's like try not to be hard on them. At the same time, still have to be that disciplinarian. You still have to be the one that sometimes is the reason why they shed tears because I have to get on them or whatever whenever they're not doing what they're supposed to do. That doesn't happen too often, thank God for that. But when it does, it's almost heartbreaking. Like, who wants to see their children cry? But also, at the same token, who wants to see their children something happen, something detrimental happen because you didn't correct them, you didn't have the balls to correct them, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, then I'm sitting here thinking about how mm, I almost got choked up with that one. But sitting here thinking about, well, for one, yeah, how big I done got. I done gained more than enough weight. But thinking about how yeah, how I experience grief. I don't know if I can say on behalf of, but experience some grief regarding that a person's loved one, that I guess I was closer than I knew to, or whatever. Not the deceased loved one, but the person that, as far as I know, is still alive, that lost a loved one. What the heck is going on? Anyway, yeah, I got it dark in here for a reason, but experience that, and then don't even get to be around the person, don't get to spend time with the person because the person went off elsewhere, was already off elsewhere when this occurred. But you know, didn't get to spend that good time with them. And me, I'm steady watching certain YouTubers and like, oh, I wish I could live that type of life. Feeling like I want to live that life, and especially wanting to, not just me, wanting my children to experience certain stuff. I experienced certain things when I was younger. It was fun, and it was, I wish I was more so appreciative of it when I was younger and growing up. Because looking back, it's like it just passed me by, and I could have enjoyed it more. I could have been more. I'm not gonna say I should have been, because I don't I don't get off into that, but I could have been more family oriented. I could have chosen to be more family oriented. And I just feel like if I knew better or knew that, that was that should have been priority over other things that was on my mind and things like that. Um, but I definitely don't want my kids deprived. And as of right now, I just still feel like they're deprived. And I always say my feelings don't dictate; they indicate. So a lot of times when I go to say label something as is or call it just that, it's more so of a feeling. And yes, oftentimes it's a strong feeling, but it's just more so of a feeling rather than that label. I can't label it as it is because I really get convicted by doing that. Like God literally just lets me know that's your feelings. That's not what it is. That's not what I've deemed it. That's not what I call it. So now, sometimes he don't necessarily, or it might just be me not listening, but he don't necessarily clarify and let me know what to actually call it or what it actually is. I don't get that. Sometimes I don't get that understanding. I don't get that interpretation of what it actually is going on. Even like that situation that I just mentioned, like having grief on behalf of somebody else. I just feel like, hey, dang, I'm that close to somebody. Yeah, I can. It's, I almost want to say experience the grief on their behalf, but I don't know if I can call it that, but it was something along those lines. Maybe to soften the blow, not to say that they didn't experience any grief at all, but maybe to soften the blow or whatever, or what they may have felt, which is that's a decent thing to me. But it's like, well, where is mine at? Where we can help soften the blow, and because I was there for that person, but I can't seem to get that in return, as far as I know. Um, but yeah, it's really tough. Trying to be a mother to boys and not break them. um, I'm not the most sensitive person in the world. My boys are they sensitive. They're not overly sensitive at all because of who I am, but it's close enough and borderline that they could have been. They're not. They're alright. They some tough dudes. They're alright. They got a tough mom, but that's the thing. Mom needs some help and support. And I'm telling you, just sometimes I just wake up and I just be like, okay, this is the day. It's gonna, you know what? Let me stop lying to myself and lying to anybody who's listening. That I don't wake up like that, saying this is the day. I really be thinking, oh, this is gonna be the same thing as it was yesterday, and just hope that it is nothing worse. And sometimes, honestly, the worst comes, but worse than not the worst of the worst, but the worse than yesterday. So, but I can still laugh and giggle. I do believe that God has a wonderful humor. I can't even call it a sense of humor because it's just humor. He humors us, and he's human. He can humor himself, utilizing us, his creation. But yeah, I'm on here because I had to get on my older son, a couple of times today. He did not follow directions. Then I had to get them to take a break from certain devices and games and stuff like that, so they can exercise their brain cells, like do something else, like some actual like math skills and other things. I had to get them to download certain apps. Yeah, and make them get up and go outside and stuff like that. That part right there is just tough, just to encourage them. 'Cause, I mean, they be in their own little world, similar to how I do, where this is what's comfortable to you, and that's what's peaceful to you. And you don't want nothing to interrupt that. But, sometimes I just have to go there with them. Um, I'm just feeling that little blah type of mood right now, like, or when is something gonna change, when the sun gonna turn. Previously, I was definitely a prayer warrior. I'm still a woman of prayer. I'm still a praying woman, but it doesn't seem as much as what I used to. It also seems as I don't have to. Like I kind of made some spiritual deposits, some heavenly deposits, but I'm not gonna even fool myself or convince myself that that's the case, because the Bible do say pray without ceasing. And so, and so I still enjoy praying when I do, but I don't always stop and take the time to pray as much as I used to. A lot of times it's because I do, as long as I feel peace and I don't feel that pressure or led to, or yeah, the unction to go pray, then I won't. But I do know that we do have free will and we can go to God anytime, as many times a day we need to, whenever. But I'm just so used to that unction. But it's like, I guess now it's like maybe he's just waiting for me to get off devices, and I don't really have nobody to talk to, so that's not distracting me. But get off devices or just stop whatever it is. Really the cares of this world. That's what's trying to creep up in my life now. Previously, I'm not gonna say I didn't have a care in this world, but I wasn't burdened. I didn't feel burdened by the cares of this world. Now I kind of do. I kind of feel like, what's going on in society. I don't know how that could affect me and my household, my children. So I need to at least be aware, and things like that. And then it almost tries to turn into worry. So that's the thing. And I'm like, I don't want that type of life at all. Because I like the life that I felt like I was living before with peace. Yeah, I still had trouble arise, plenty of it, but it was just like when God helped me overcome it and defeat it. Ooh, it was just beautiful. It was amazing. Now it feel like I almost gotta put in some type of work to defeat and overcome. Like I can never say I'm overworking myself, but some type of exertion that I'm just not used to. And it's like, what? I'm putting out this to do. I'm like, what in the world? It ain't supposed to be like this. And I go back to the Garden of Eden and how it was euphoric and it was perfect and things were simple and easy. And yeah, I like simple and easy. So that is that, and that's how I'm feeling right now. Some of my videos, well, I just realized that some of them might be muffled, the sound of it. I didn't realize that before. I don't know how I'm gonna go back and fix that, because it's kind of too late, but excuse me, I'm relaxed right now in this moment. If I keep yawning and all that, but I'm still like, I still got some type of anxiety type thing plaguing me. One thing about my younger son, he really does. He's very helpful with my anxiety. Like, he really got like they can be in potentially healing hands, but he's good with his hands. He likes to come up and try to massage me and stuff like that. I don't even ask him, and I never taught him, but he does it. And sometimes I return the favor and just massage his back and stuff, just try to show him how it feels. But he just out of the blue will come up and massage me if I'm like jumping my leg up and down. He'll come just touch me and like help me to calm down, which I love that. I like anything that's natural. I ain't gotta get injected with nothing. I ain't gotta pop no pill. But that's only when he's like touching me and on me, and I know he's not gonna do that all the time and on a regular basis, because he's 6 years old. I mean, almost 6 years old, and he'll go back to playing his little stuff and just living his own life. So it's helpful. But I just want to completely overcome this thing. I don't want that to continue showing up in my life. feeling antsy and some uncertainty and all that. But I try to chalk it up to, hey, that's the world we live in. But I also still feel like something else needs to be done and can't be done. But I feel like people and whatever else is with it has withheld that from me, and it's so, I feel like some stuff is so unfair. Like, I feel like people have tried to pry into my life, my household, and things like that, and I don't do that with them. Like, pry, of course, separate and divide my household. And like, these people, I don't even be looking in their direction. Like, I ain't even trying to divide you from whoever it is that you so-called team up. Now, there are some things that I had preferred for them to do and help with that may cause that separation, or cause them, not separation, excuse me, but cause them to make a choice and prioritize um, this in my house and things like that, over what they're used to, but never try to separate nobody. So, I just don't fully understand, like, why God has allowed my household to be what I felt like broken up. And like I said, I can feel like it's that, but oftentimes God had me not to label it that. I have to be careful with my tongue. I have to be careful with my words, which is a good thing. But yeah, I don't know how God have allowed it to at least seem like people are able to divide my household, cause chaos, and it's like have a sense of control of what goes on here. Like, it really pissed me off because I'm like, I don't do that. I don't bother with what y'all got going on. I don't even look in y'all direction. And a lot of times I feel like they more so, yeah, they want me to look in that direction and give them that attention. And especially want me to give them the wrong type of attention or whatever. And I'm just like, baby, I'm good and grown. Yes, I still got some growing to do. So that means I will cuss you out, if that opportunity presents itself or whatever. But I am not finna chase nobody down to try to respond in a spiteful type of way, or go get them back and do them how they do. I'm just not. I ain't finna front to you. Now, if that opportunity come up, and it is what it is. But I'm just not finna, like I mentioned earlier, just overexert myself to do that. But yeah, so many people done that, just to, again, the side conversations. I mean, I know I speak, it's kind of redundant, repetitive a little bit, because to me, it's the truth. That's what's been going on. So it's like, so hard to forget this is the truth of the matter. This is what's really been happening. But yeah, I don't know why I experienced that grief and then couldn't be around the person at all. But I'm at peace. I'm at peace with not being around this person. But I think some things, like, we always want some kind of closure, or just I'm gonna say understanding. I don't want no closure, because I'm just like, you know what? If I never get to sit down and have that conversation or these conversations with this person, I think I'm gonna be all right. But I don't feel all right with other things that have occurred. Like, of course, my daughter not being in my household or spending that time, and just still not having certain help that I have longed for and wanted. And I have prayed and asked God to send it forth, and believed Him for it and all that. And I don't know what to say. It hasn't manifested in the form that I feel like I can tell and what I believe I've asked for, but I can't say that He doesn't send forth help. He definitely does. I want that consistent. Of course, it used to be in-house help, and I'm still not opposed to that at all. But I just, and I hate to sound like I'm complaining. I know I am venting, but I hate to sound like I'm complaining all the time. And the Bible do speak about being content. I feel content a lot, but then there's other times where I just don't. There's a lot of moments where I just be like, this ain't it. So, and of course, not being able to have certain relationships with with people that I've known as family all my life. And this, as far as I know, this wasn't nobody else's doing. This was something that I just don't understand. But I watched it happen, and I knew nobody else physically made me distance myself from people that I've known. I really truly believe and felt like that's something that I needed to do, and it's protected. And there's other times when I just been caused to do it, and it's like, and I had no intention of doing that. I love everybody, but I had to just, I feel like, yeah, definitely choose me. If I had to choose the will of God, and the will of God just took me in a different direction. Especially, again, I mentioned it's not ideal, and I knew that's one thing I knew wasn't gonna be ideal. But when it's not ideal, you don't know what it's gonna look like. That's the crazy part. But I think that's it. I really think that's it as far as naturally. God is moving on me as far as praying and speaking my prayer language. And like I said before, I'm always encouraged by this one guy, Mac Praise. He goes in. Like it's just him and God, and I just love it, and it stirs me, and it, like I say, I don't want to say activate the Holy Spirit on the inside of me, but just reminds me. It's like a gentle reminder. God is still there. God is near. God is with you. He's within. He's in you. You're in His presence. You still connected. Because sometimes I do feel like I done drifted off and drifted. I don't never feel like I drifted too far. I feel like too. Once you're a believer, a firm believer, it's really nothing that can stop you from believing on. Yeah, the enemy does send God sends strong delusion, but the enemy is very deceitful. But yeah, he gets me stirred, and I definitely appreciate it. I like watching his videos. Very encouraged. So yeah, sometimes I am just afraid to, I feel afraid to go there because nobody looking at me crazy. Or she crazy. The people have already said, what's them tongues? Oh, she over there speaking in tongues, and this crazy girl, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, wow. And a long time ago, when people would say that, I just felt like you need to be careful putting your mouth on somebody in that type of way, and you don't, just because you don't understand or you don't know what their relationship is, and it seems foreign to you, even before I'm gonna just say knew that I could speak in tongues or pray in that prayer language, because there was a time when I had a desire and it didn't flow like it does now. I did not put my mouth on people who would speak in tongues and stuff like that. Now, some stuff looked crazy to me, sounded crazy to me, but I just didn't put my mouth on people when they do that. Now, I do have, of course, a spirit of discernment where when somebody just try to mock us in tongues and stuff like that, and I can hear it with my natural and my spiritual ears, and I just be like, Lord, correct your people. But and then where somebody is truly, operating in the gift of tongues and operating in the Holy Spirit, and so, for those that do know, and they say if you know, you know. But yeah, have that knowing on the inside. But yeah, I would never put my mouth on people the wrong way. And then there was one person who even said that about me, and then they sit right there, and they flow and speak in tongues as well. And I don't know. I just feel like, hey, you need to be careful, because that means you know the Lord, and you trying to curse somebody else with your tongue, with the very tongue that you speak in tongues with, or you communicate and commune with God. But I don't know, that's scary to me. And not to say that with my natural tongue I ain't cussing nobody out and said some ugly stuff, and definitely try to speak death to certain spirits, but I don't try to speak death over a person. And I'm not saying that I haven't. I done said some stuff because people have did some pretty much heinous things, but I do ask God for forgiveness, and I do repent and ask Him to correct my tongue, and for me to, not label anybody or accuse anybody of something that That's not true. That he had redeemed for their life. So he has corrected me, but there's people, I mean, they try to make that thing stick about me, from psycho to crazy girl, speaking in the tongues, and what else they say. I mean, oh God. Of course, nappy head, and we talked about some of the insults the other day. Oh Lord, of course, the B word over and over and over. I got so many receipts of being called the B word, and like, yeah, they wanted to call me that until I thought that was my name for real. Thought that's who I am, who I was, or whatever, who I was born to be. And God said no. So I'm thankful for that. But for a long time, people have made me feel like that's what I need to answer to, and worse. Um, God forgives, so I definitely forgive. It happens sometimes that I just like, Lord, how many times you want me to forgive this, and when are you gonna do something about it? When are you gonna correct it? And I've seen His correcting hand, so but I don't always see it. I don't always feel like I see what He's doing to correct them, and I'm thankful He's a God like that, because people don't always see where I'm being corrected, where I may have wronged them or definitely offended them. I try not to wrong people, but offended them or made them feel offended, should I say. Um, just popping, smacking when I'm talking, but yeah, it's a little ratchet, a little bit of ratchet. It probably need to be removed, but yeah. What a day. What a day. I know my voice just sounds like I'm just this tired, dull person or whatever. It is what it is. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat and act like I'm the most exciting person. It's just, this world has truly affected me. It really has. The world and the people in it truly affected me. I would be lying if I said it didn't. Has definitely weighed down. Um, and then it definitely tries to trickle down to my children. And I just be like, no, you ain't gonna see. You ain't gonna trickle down to my children. You're gonna seep into them. That's the smallest part of me that is happy that my daughter she's not here to experience certain stuff when I'm upset, when I'm bothered, this and third. Because of course she's the oldest, so I definitely don't take stuff out on my kids, but if they're there and like in the past, they're gonna feel, see, hear, experience, and maybe even be affected by my moods and stuff like that. And oh Lord, my son always busting in here. I be trying to see, that's the one I'm talking about. He comes and checks on me, and I appreciate it. And just comes to say, hey, can't beat that. Gotta be grateful for that. But I have to kind of shoo him away, because when I'm on here, I don't want to stop. Not that he really distracts me. I'd rather be distracted by my kids, but also I'm in what I consider the secret place, and that's one thing I don't really like to be interrupted. But anyway, he came in to speak. He always brightens my day, make me feel great. That's why when I did experience a little incarceration that I did for that little short period of time, either way, it was a very short period of time, but it still felt lengthy to me. I thought about him always coming and saying hey, or just busting in my room and all that, and I couldn't experience that during that time, and I thank God I was not devastated. I felt a type of way, and I felt strongly, but I didn't feel devastated because of the Spirit of God. I know that's the only reason why. And I know the enemy wanted me to feel completely devastated and just be down and out. And I know in some moments I felt very, very low, like low. But I just still remembered and was reminded that God is in control. He allowed it to happen. He didn't stop it or intervene. Anytime I got detained and all that, and I was like, oh Lord, please get me out of here. For 8 hours being in a detaining or holding cell, I was like, God, get me out of here. This has got to be a joke. This got to be a sick joke. You know, I'm supposed to go home. I'm supposed to have returned to my kids. And that's when my daughter was removed from here. Well, a couple days after or whatever. But this is a joke. Can't be. I was in there, and then I mean, the whole time he still reminded me he's in control. It ain't about me. It's about his will being done, and you know, I don't want to say my presence was needed there. My presence, that's another thing. I was there in that location again. It was like I don't want to. I'm scared to say on behalf of this person because I'm not trying to be on behalf of this person or be that representative. Not in that way anyway. Not all. It's always the negative or the grief or the bad part. But I can't be present in the happy times. I can't be the representative and experience the better parts. That seems kind of screwed up to me. So, you know, I was in that location because of that again, because of the person that I've been connected to. That person has corruption with them. I mean, just it is what it is. They definitely have criminal behavior, if not overall a criminal. Period. But wants me to go through and experience certain stuff on their behalf, but I can't reap certain benefits, and I'm just like, not me. But you know, God allowed it for a reason. It happened, it occurred, and I never thought that would happen to me because I don't operate like that. I don't operate as a criminal-minded person. I don't operate as a devious-minded person. Like I said, I have my ways because I'm human. I'm sure I got some things that I go in error in, but I just, no thank you. I don't want to live that type of life. I ain't no gangster like that. I ain't no gangster like that. I ain't no thug like that, baby. Like I said, I ain't saying I ain't got no thuggish ways. I'm sure it's somewhere in there. But I do not proclaim to be a thug or a gangster. I do defend myself, and like I said, I try as much as I can my children, and just speak up, with truth, and I try to keep it in a loving manner and tone even, but I know my tone is definitely, like people always misunderstand my tone. They mistake it for being mean or whatever when it's mostly passionate. But yeah, I'm not a thug, baby. I'm a goodie. I'm good when it comes to that. Been around some, absolutely, pretty much unknowingly, because I just wouldn't choose to be around thugs, gangsters. I just not. But that's it. I'm just like, Lord, when are the better experiences? And don't get me wrong, I have had some better experiences here lately, but it just still feels very short-lived, and it don't feel like I'm living out my full potential like I should be. I feel like I fell short, stopped short somewhere, took a detour and just got lost and remained there, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I just be wondering when the consistency will come forth and all that good stuff. Got irritated by something earlier today that I usually get irritated by because I feel like people be trying me, definitely trying my patience, and then, as quickly as I could, I tried to get past it and just be like, okay, let me just make the best of it. And just hoping for today is that don't even keep occurring. The words say, hope deferred makes the heart sick. Boy, have I been heart sick plenty. Right now, in this moment, I don't feel heart sick. Thank you, God. Give you all the glory for that, because, yeah, a lot of times I have felt heart sick. And definitely hope still seems deferred. I had a person speak about hope and hope and hope over and over, and there's hope and I'm just like, and then after that, I never, it was just deferred. And I definitely became very heart sick, and so I just said, forget it. I definitely gave up on the hope that person was speaking about or whatever, or maybe lying about. I have hope on the inside of me, but I just it's trying to be diminished. Anyway, whoever may come across this video, I ain't trying to make nobody feel weary, but I definitely, that's what I be feeling oftentimes. It's weary. A lot of times it's me thinking, at least for a moment, oh God, I'm so weary, but telling you God won't even allow me to slip into that mindset and that belief and allow that to become a solidified belief for me, position for me, because He is who He is. I am that I am. I believe that. I don't know if I'm even making any sense or anything like that. I know I am. Let me stop. Let me not even go off the deep end like that. I'm making sense, but some people won't necessarily understand. Thought about my grandma today. I think I even had a dream about her. Oh Lord, if I go deep, I'm sure I'll start missing my grandma and all that. But I just try not to even touch it because she's gone. It is what it is. I don't know how peaceful her transition was, but I know that for me, nobody killed her, so to speak, as far as physically or anything like that. It wasn't nothing tragic or devastating, bloodshed and all, you know what I'm saying? Body parts, all of that crazy stuff. So that's the peaceful part. But that's not to say that, what she experienced wasn't tough from what I was told or what I heard, that, she had stopped breathing or whatever. And I think even my daughter was on the phone with her the day before, the night before she passed or whatever, but, or the night of. But, yeah. And God even moved on me to send my daughter pictures and stuff. Right before that occurred, like a week before. So, I definitely be having peace about certain stuff. That's why I don't like my peace disturbed, baby. I don't play when it comes to peace disturbed. And that does go for even when my kids walked in there and, they don't mean no harm, but baby, the peace of God surpasses all understanding, and it's just different. And you don't want to come out of it. You don't want nothing to tamper with it. And so that's why I be a lot of times, and that's why I try to remain. Now, mind you, people and entities and whatever that people be saying, the powers that be, they try to pull you out of it, but you really can't take that from somebody if they are rooted and grounded. And so that's that. I'm pretty much the only one that could give my peace away or, do something to forfeit that or whatever. But, yeah, so I don't play that, but, I have thoughts about it, how it would be nice to take her out to eat and just other stuff. She did a lot of stuff around my house for me and help me and stuff, me and my kids. But anyway, even though I'm not going to stay on that long because that is what it is. This is where we're at. Anyway, so I think that's about it for right now. These videos be getting long-winded, most definitely. I'm always pretty much guaranteed to make a 30 to 40 minute, maybe 50-minute video. It is what it is. But I did get to see one of the YouTubers today, very interesting, and I was just watching. Yep, I'm a spectator, I'm a watcher or whatever on the sideline. But and it makes me curious, it makes me wonder, like, what if I could just live that type of life? I'm not gonna say a day, a week, a month. What would it be like? But here I am, little old me, living this life. Anyway, to God be all the glory.